Today's review, we have a collaboration between two of the big UK hitters, Verdant and Beak, and this is Passing Thoughts. It's an IPA, but what's it going to be like? Keep watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're reviewing this collaboration between Verdant and Beak, two, they're the leading breweries, I think, in the UK. I mean, Beak have been really doing some really great beers this year. I think they're really they're one of the top breweries in the country in terms of craft beer. And Verdant have been around a lot longer. They're still the kings of it. You know, they're still the top brewer, I think, in the UK. I mean, Verdant, Polly's for me, Daya maybe to some extent, but there's Beak that definitely sort of like vying for that top three position. And we'll be interested to see at the end of the year where they fit in my personal top 10, but certainly I've had lots of good beers from them. Verdant, I've always had good beers from them. And this is a collaboration, as I say, it's called Passing Thoughts. We have Eclipse, Mosaic and Nectaron. So we've got Eclipse and Nectaron, which are the sort of Southern Hemisphere hops. Mosaic, the US hops. It's 6.5%, and that's about all we know, really. So let's crack it open, get it in a glass, see what it's all about. Unfortunately, I've just had a big crack in my IPA glass, so I'm using a Polly's glass again. So we'll see how this works out. I do need to get some more glasses, really. But this is looking really good in a glass. Look at that, bright yellow, pure custard in a glass, lots of carbonation sticking to it. We've got a 1 to 2 finger head. Look, it's fairly compacted. I think that might stick around more than 2 seconds. But look at that colour. It's absolutely yellow, deep yellow. Custard, straw coloured, very thick looking. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Let's see what the aromas are like. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's almost like I can tell it's a Verdant beer. Straight away, you're getting that very sort of very citrusy, very sort of with a slight savoury sort of note. There's a little bit of like spring onion coming into this. I really like the smell though. I mean, it smells like it's got lots of something like Nelson Sauvin in it, hasn't it? It's obviously the Nectaron is a similar sort of New Zealand hops with a similar sort of characteristics. Eclipse, I'm not quite sure I know much about it. I'm sure it's an Australian hop opposed to a New Zealand hop. But, well, let's see what it tastes like, shall we? Cheers, everyone. Oh, it's really good. Very New Zealand-esque in terms of its flavour. Not really picking up much of the sort of mosaic in this. Grape, gooseberry, kiwi fruit, melon. You've heard them all before. There's lemons and limes and grapefruits in there as well. Such a lovely sort of flavour. It's like, I always think, am I going to get bored of that flavour? But I'm not. I do love New Zealand flavoured, New Zealand hopped flavoured beers. They're got very strong characteristics. If I drank this blind, I would have said Nelson Sauvin all day long, but it hasn't got Nelson Sauvin in. But the other hops are obviously doing similar stuff. It's got a light to medium body. It's soft though, it's smooth, goes down well. It's got a really sort of smooth sort of mouthfeel, almost to the point of creamy. I must admit that as the weather is starting to change a little bit now, I should really have had this out of the fridge longer. I've had it only out of the fridge about 5 minutes, and it does feel a little bit too cold for me. I should have maybe let it warm up a little bit. But the flavours of this, they're bursting out, really. And I say, if you like New Zealand hops, if you like that flavour, let me know in the comments what you think of that, because I go on a lot about New Zealand hops. I do like those flavours, and I say the same sort of flavours: the kiwi fruit, the gooseberry, melon, even grape coming in there. I do love that flavour. It's got like almost like so fresh, it's almost like got like a crunchy sort of fruit, getting a little bit of pear and a little bit of apple coming into there. But the big flavours are very much like that sort of that New Zealand white wine sort of flavours. very fresh, very sharp. Grapefruit is starting to come through a little bit sharper now. It really just gives it a little bit of an edge on the back end, and there's a little bit of earthiness. Lemongrass flavours, that's the sort of thing. It's sort of, I don't know, when I taste these sort of beers, the New Zealand hot beers, it reminds me of eating Thai food. I just wonder what the complement of the Thai food and this would be, because it's got that sort of real freshness, that, you know, coriander, even lemongrass, those sort of very sort of Asian sort of herbs and spices that they use. There's something about it. It doesn't taste exactly like that, but there's a pattern there in terms of the flavour pairings, and it's similar to that. But it's another great beer from Verdant and Beak, of course. It's definitely got that Verdant signature sort of flavour to it, to me. You know, having you with that sort of savoury note. I think you don't get, even with New Zealand hot beers, you don't get quite that savoury note that you do with Verdant when they make it. I don't know if it's something to do with the yeast or what they do to it, but you get that in there. But it's a really soft, smooth beer. As I say, the head there, nice and compacted, and it sticks around, and you get that sort of that smooth velvetiness when you drink it through it. It's another great beer, and I reckon this one is going to be one that's going to be probably tipping into the highly recommended. But let's get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for Passing Thoughts. This is a brand new beer from Verdant and Beak. We have Eclipse, Mosaic and Nectron, but it's very much what I would call a New Zealand IPA in both looks, aroma and certainly flavour. And it's a cracking beer. So let's go through the scores, starting with aroma. Appearance. Flavour. Value for money. This one, I think it's about £5.50. So what you would expect from a Verdant Beak beer. And finally, my overall experience. Yep, it's a great beer, and we top those scores up. We get a total score hitting the highly recommended number of, yeah, that's a good total score. A very solid, great, yeah, solid sounds like a bit average, but it's a great beer. You know, I don't expect anything less from Verdant and Beak. They always make great beers. I don't think I've had a Verdant beer that wasn't very good. I've had the occasional pale ales from Beak that weren't quite up to the level of their IPAs, but generally, all the IPAs I've had of them have always been good. So another great beer, great collaboration, and yeah, definitely highly recommended. So let me know if you've had this. Have you had anything from Verdant and Beak recently? Let me know in the comments. Anything I should be looking out for. I think they make great beers. Both these breweries, as I said at the start, are at the top of their game. And yeah, and I'm always going to continue to look for Verdant and Beak beers when I go to my local bottle shop or buy online, because I just know I'm always going to get a good beer. So that's enough for me today. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up if you like the video, like content I'm providing for you here. And obviously, if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. You'll get known when every new video is released. If you click the notification bell, certainly. And hopefully we'll see you on the next video. And until then, you know what you're going to do. Drink good craft beer and keep on rocking.